Hello and welcome, this is rooflemonger, and the giant Aftermath patch hit, and obviously Mortal Kombat 11 as it's been pretty shaken up. And in this video is my winners and losers of the patch, and it's going to be a little different this time. I've done many of these styles of video as long as I've been doing YouTube, right? And never until this specific video are people that are going to be in the winners category are also going to be in the losers category. What do I mean by that? Well, watch the friggin' video, you know, that's why I'm doing this, right? So, hey, let's talk about the winners first, and then we'll go into the losers. So, first up, when it comes to winners, well, hey, we gotta talk Raiden, right? Raiden, I feel, got more than anybody else in this patch, and kind of significantly so. One of the changes I'm a really big fan of, forward 2 is now +2 on block. Meaning, if you get checked by forward 2, and it's got some range, right? Like, it's roughly this far max distance. So +2, you're immediately like, you know, okay, now we're like jab check territory, right? Either Raiden's gonna jab check and you have to respect it, or you could try to, you know, mash out, and then he'll beat you, then, you know, jailing time, or you did respect it, and then maybe he just gets sassy and walks up and throws you, right? So, even though it's only +2, that is a fairly significant deal. Also, 3-2-1, this string right here, becoming +6 on block. Also a very big deal. +6, especially from roughly this range. If he goes to tap your toes with back 3, you kind of gotta like it, right? Unless you, like, immediately backdash. And, of course, you know, that carries its own set of risks. And yes, this is a flawless blockable string, 100%. So, if we set our flawless here, the enemy is allowed to flawless block that, right? However, as far as the animation of the string goes, it's pretty indistinguishable if he just lets it rock right here or if he goes for it, making it a very strong stagger string, and then I can just, like, go forward throw you or go for more normals or whatever, right? So, between forward 2 and 3-2-1 here, getting all these new plus frame materials, especially the change, they're making this +6. +6 is a very significant number to be plus. These are huge boons to Raiden. His lightning bolts here. So lightning bolt amplify specifically here got the ability to be heavily delayed, as you can see there, right? So it makes it work like Spawn's projectile in a little bit here. We're gonna have to tech up some, you know, strings, some block strings just to see what works, right? But the fact that you can just kind of do it in someone's face and then immediately like, okay, do you think you want to hit the button? Because I can delay this really big, right? And if you want to, like, protect yourself, you know, not hit the button, then I can just let it rock, right? And get away scot-free with murder. And, of course, the further you are out, the more plus you're going to be as well, which is pretty helpful. Forward 3-2, making that bonk an actual overhead. Hey, it's not a game changer, but it's nice to have. Summon Lightning is now the armor breaker, and you know what? That's a boon, right? So Raiden and Variation 3, they got this move, and it helps. Like, and a lot of people don't even think Raiden is like a combo variation, but, like, you know, hey, that totally works, right? And that's an armor breaker, so you can't get away from it. You can get more damage than that. But yeah, a lot of people forget that, you know, Storm Cell is not the only combo option he has. Hey, speaking of Storm Cell, you know, you can't break away till the final hit. That's good. So you don't get automatically punished on breakaways. And hey, if you put any amount of time into the character, you might have noticed that this string here into Storm Cell EX actually works on female characters now properly. Before, people with more slender hitboxes, like, they'd sort of fall out at weird parts, wouldn't take all the hits, and you couldn't get the normal combo structure. And now it works the same on everybody, so you can just do the same old fanciness that you should and would expect. So yeah, Raiden, like, these changes aren't like a remake of the character or nothing, and there's a little more that I haven't talked about, but overall, pound for pound, he got a lot. Like, he's a much more complete character than he was. Now, there's one more issue to talk about, and we'll talk about that in the losers section, where Raiden will also be appearing. Another very big winner is Shao Kahn. Now, Shao Kahn, before anything else, I just want to point out here on the Retrocade stage, Shao Kahn does not sit on his throne in the background in the Mortal Kombat 2 stage if Shao Kahn is in play. I think that's a pretty nice little detail. So Shao's probably most significant change is the back 3 change. It lets him revamp his entire combo structure for the most part, and he does more damage across the board on everything. I do have the Shao Kahn Aftermath combo guide. Check that out on the channel. Should be linked at the end of this video as well if you want to see that. But yeah, Shao Kahn now just does pretty much across the board more damage than he did before, and that works out very well for him. Back 3 becomes much more valuable as a whiff punish tool also due to this, because, hey, you can do all these, fancy combos from it, and you get a lot of damage from it. Little things like, forward 4 does more damage, does 9% now instead of 7%. That's pretty cool. In the end, there's not too much to say other than Shao is a better character, yes, as he does basically all the same stuff he did before, but now with more damage behind it. Other than that, hey, we'll talk about Shao again in the losers section, because I believe in a very big way we were sold a false bill of goods on a lot of other stuff. Nightwolf is a very big winner of the patch as well, I believe. Mostly thanks to the changes of Variation 3 Shaman. So if you're not aware of Variation 3, it was basically, like sadly many other Variation 3s, the joke variation. The one that no one would ever waste their time on. Why? Well, stuff like this. So it has spirit tracks, right? And that normally is a low, and you can amplify it to launch. So hey, combo starter, right? Get your big boy launches and all that kind of stuff. Here's the problem. This launcher would not combo from almost, like, a lot of his main priority combo strings. So, like, 1-1-1 launch, only possible thanks to this patch. It literally could not connect before. Forward 1-2, that's like his main whiff punish string, right? Forward 1-2 into launch. Didn't work. It wasn't an actual combo before. I know it sounds insane for a quote-unquote combo variation to not combo too good, but that's where it was. You cannot actually use some of your most important strings, because like 1-1-1 does like 93, right? Like that's a lot of damage, and like it's a big part of his stagger game and all that kind of stuff. Like it's just a big deal. Forward 1-2 obviously also a very big deal, because it's double hitting mid start, right? So big deals on both fronts, and nope. Couldn't combo from it, just didn't work, and now it does. Now, with that said, this variation did have one very good thing about it. This variation had the lightning arrow, which replaces regular arrow shot, and lightning arrow is so good. Oh my lordy, lordy, lordy. So 1, hits mid, right? So no ducking it. Unlike so many other fireballs in this game, you cannot duck under it, right? So you had to deal with that. 2, it does 91, so it's 9%. Is a very highly damaging projectile. So that's cool. And also, it knocks down. Most projectiles, well, hey, unless you burn a bar or something, that's not going to knock down. And a lot of them don't even knock down, even with that in mind, right? So you always got to knock down no matter what. And yeah, considering it just slams people to the ground, it also winds up being a really good combo ender. And you can hold it, cancel for mind games, like, hit people or jumping, all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, so between the fact that it already had the good projectile, and now like you can actually do actual combos when you could not before in this variation off a lot of your most prominent strings, I think this variation has gone from his worst variation to potentially his best. I still think variation 1 does a little bit more damage in the end, but the utility of, hey, you still get combos no matter what, just like variation 1, and your long range game is much better thanks to the lightning arrow. I think this might be the go-to variation. So yeah, with all that said, Nightwolf to me, definite winner. Another very big winner in my opinion is Jacqui. Now you might say, well, hey, Jacqui didn't get anything really, and well, yeah, that's kind of it. Joker, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, they all got, kind of some love tap nerfs, but nerfs nevertheless, right? Jacqui, she got away scot-free, and getting away scot-free is a win in my books, right? Jacqui was basically the best character that didn't get anything, nothing to her, right? Now, once again, the Johnny, Liu Kang, Joker, like, their love tap nerfs are not a big deal, but considering Jacqui just got away scot-free and can do all of her silly stuff, like, hey, here's almost 30% unbreakable damage, among a million other things, because upgraded Jacqui's just absolutely ridiculous. The fact that she didn't really get touched, You know, she got like a couple bug fixes, a couple of recorrects, like her chip damage was fixed on a couple moves, like, you know, it's just basically all bug fix stuff, right? So the fact that she was effectively untouched means she's a winner to me. Now on to the losers section here. There's only going to be 2 losers, and that's Raiden and Shao Kahn, who are also in the winners section, which as long as I've been doing this, I've never done this because, you know, it's kind of unprecedented, but I feel it's extremely warranted. People who got the baby nerfs like Joker, Liu Kang, Johnny, yo, they're still basically the best characters in the game, so the nerfs really don't matter. They don't mean anything in the end. I could never call them a loser. So now we'll talk Raiden, we'll talk Shao Kahn. Let's talk Raiden first. So of all the buffs Raiden got, this is the most vaunted one, right? Back 1-2, still technically punishable on block, you know, but it got a true throw added to it, right? So if you're a sassy boy and you're going to block the string, hey, you're getting chucked for, you know, being, you know, too complacent, right? So giving Raiden some potential, like mix-up potential, if you will, and just pressure where there was none before. But here's the problem. So the enemy right now is crouch blocking, meaning, you know, well, besides factor blocking, crouch blocking means you still get hit by highs. So you get hit by my stand 2, that's a high. You get hit by my throw, that's a high, all that kind of stuff. You still get hit by highs if you are crouch blocking. And what happens to my precious throw here? Well, bupkis, basically, nothing. I don't get anything. If you're crouching and crouch blocking at that, the throw whiffs, which breaks the rules of the game because throws are not supposed to whiff on crouching opponents. Even like command grabs that are true highs, like Nightwolf's, for example, right? If you're crouch blocking, Nightwolf's command grab high will still get you. A regular throw is a high, it still gets you, but this just goes over your head. So effectively, there's literally no reason not to crouch block in this situation because the throw can't get you. Now, Shao Kahn got the same deal. Shao Kahn's does work in this scenario. Shao Kahn's does grab a crouch blocking foe. So they both got the exact same thing, except Raiden's doesn't get a crouch blocking foe, and Shao Kahn's does, and it just, it mostly cripples any usefulness it has. Like, if they try to jab out or something, like, you can catch them in an animation, sure. But the promise of, like, you know, the mix-up potential of the 50-50 is a lie, straight up. Like, without this working against a crouch-blocking foe, there is no value to it at all. Now, is this a bug or is this intentional? I don't know. I tried to reach out. I was ignored. They don't talk to people outside of the usual pre-approved circle anyway, so whatever, right? But yeah, I've not heard anything on the matter if this is a bug or intentional. If it's a bug, hey, please fix it. If it's intentional, why did you bother in the first place? Because it's a waste of our time. So, going from Raiden to Shao Kahn. And here, first up here, we had that whole section about Raiden. Hey, crouch blocking, no problem. Shao Kahn's grab works exactly like you think it would. So, that whole bill of goods with Raiden, that's a false bill of goods, but it's the real deal for Shao Kahn. Now, where's the false bill of goods for Shao Kahn? Well, it comes in the forward 3-4 buff, as it were. So, yes, is it special cancelable now? 100%. Hey, you just saw me do it, right? And that was something I asked for so long. However, in a lot of other aspects, the move was made worse, and it didn't get rid of the underlying aspects that made the move problematic to begin with, making the special cancelable buff kind of a non-factor because I don't want to use this move still. I have no real incentive to use this move, and I'm risking my life by doing it. So 1, the move still has the massive gap in it. This is one of the easiest strings in the game to flawless block. It takes no real skill or effort to do so. And you get flawless block, you're done. Now, even without the flawless block here, let's talk about without the flawless block for a second. This move is -12 on block now. It never used to be. It was -7 on block. It was safe on block before. Now the string is punishable on block when it never was before. They added the punishability of the move on block. That was never a concern beforehand. So before, this move, you could say, okay, well, it has the gap or whatever, but at least, you know, it's a hit confirm, and it's a safe on block hit confirm. I can, like, at least just block and let them take their turn afterwards. Now, no dice. And you say, well, whatever, you know, you still got your little command grab mix-up, right? Like, you can do that, except if it's flawless blocked, which, once again, it's very easy to flawless block, you can't get your command grab follow-up, and you can't special cancel. So you're just dead, you're just dead, you're just dead. And now you might say, because I said it myself, in like, you know, trying to do some mental gymnastics to keep my hype alive for the string as it started to fade, as I started to realize what's going on. It's like, well, you know, you just stagger it, right? Well, here's the thing about you just staggering it. So even on regular block, this is punishable. This is -8. 95% of the cast can punish this move. So it's not a very good stagger in that way. And also the animation for the stagger is fairly noticeable versus the main string itself. Like, it is very easy to tell if he's going to continue the string or not, right? So the stagger itself has no value, because another thing about staggers is sometimes you get the hit, right? And you want to pressure afterwards, except it's only +1 on hit. A single frame positive, and his normals are slower than everybody else's, so that doesn't really get you anywhere, right? So all in all, I feel like they delivered, yeah, as promised. That is special cancelable, 100%, right? And technically, yes, there's a quote-unquote mix at the end with the grab, but there's so many underlying flawed issues with this move. I 100% feel like we were sold a false bill of goods, because as me wanting to play Shao Kahn, I have no confidence in the string, and I don't want to use it because I feel I'll get killed for trying it. And then in the end, what was the point, right? This move is still broken effectively. It's still not worth doing, so why bother? Another thing I just sincerely hope was an oversight. Hey, shoulder charge and the overhead follow-up is an armor-breaking move, right? So if they armor, and you basically, hey, you can punch it, bounce, combo out. That's cool stuff, right? However, you can't special cancel into the follow-up if they're armored. So in this situation right here, right? Oh, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Try as I might here. You can't special cancel the shoulder charge on armor hit. So in this scenario, I called them out dead to rights, except the move can't come out. It can only come out before they're armored. And, like, what? What's the point? And yes, Scum Grab is also an armor breaker, right? But, you know, you gotta factor in here, like, you know, you get that much damage versus I do this, rebounce you, and all that. Like, that's a much more attractive target, except it literally can't work that way. So, once again, it's another kind of why, right? Like, what was the point? And I just don't get what the point was. Variation 3, the skewered anti-air grab, I think that's a very valuable armor breaker because it can break the armor and then you can still EX it after the fact. That's cool, and you get more bouncing and more combos and all that stuff. But yeah, like, why? So yeah, so Shao Kahn, he's still a better character in the end, 100%, absolutely, for sure. Better than when we left off with him before the patch, but just some really boneheaded decisions I can't possibly understand. At this point, all I say is, you know, I've asked for a lot of things in the past. They probably won't give it to me. I just say this: down 3, make this 8 frames and plus 12 on hit. Meaning I can easily jail into stand 1, because stand 1 jailing is super jacked. At least give me a reliable tool for outside of the corner. You don't want to buff anything else, at least buff that. Make it more in line with other characters. Not even like a good one. Not plus 14, not plus 15. Just plus 12. So the link into the jail is not ridiculous. So yeah, I got some strong opinions about Raiden and Shao Kahn. Once again, 100%, they're better characters. Raiden, I think very much so. I think Raiden is a very strong variation number 2. And I think Raiden is a very worthwhile endeavor to learn now, because I think a lot of that's working in his favor. I think the back 1-2 grab's bugged. At least I hope it is. And maybe that gets fixed in the future or whatever. Shao Kahn, I still think it's got a while to go, because like, I can't armor break in this scenario with the shoulder charge amp in the exact scenario it was designed to give me, because he can't cancel into it if he hits an armored foe. So, you know, what can we do with that, right? But yeah, so I'm sure there's more patches in the future. Overall, it's still an incredible patch, and once again, these two characters are better than they were before, and other characters, like we talked over, Nightwolf is in a much better place he was with the new variation changes, and a lot of characters are just in a happier, healthier place overall, and I think the game is much better for it, so don't let my criticisms of these two characters bring you down, because once again, they're still better off than they were. And with that in mind, I guess that's the end of this video before I ramble too much. So hey, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Mortal Kombat.